Weekend on my Trex deck, courtesy of Outdoor Living. Outdoor Living has a complete line of Trex decking, framing, and outdoor furniture. All Trex decking is made from 95% recycled material and it's built to last with a 25-year warranty. Decks by Trex are wrapped in a high-performance shell that resists fading, stains, mold, mildew, and weathering. My deck, made of Trex. It looks fantastic thanks to Outdoor Living. Outdoor Living, South Homes near Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood, 314-966-3325, or their website, outdoorlivinginc.com. And it's also great for professional contractors who need materials to build decks, or you, the homeowner, you want your deck built, Outdoor Living or outdoorlivinginc.com. Do we have Hamish?
Yes.
Hamish McDaniel is with us. He is an ABC News correspondent from France. Hamish, good morning.
Very good morning to you.
What's the latest with this crash? Now they're saying that the pilot inside was the cause of the crash?
Yes, there's some fairly significant information that's just emerged in the last hour or so. It's come in a statement from the German prosecutors in Dusseldorf. They've seized medical documents from the home of Andreas Lubitz. He's the 27-year-old co-pilot of the plane. They say that those medical documents indicate an existing illness and an appropriate medical treatment. Significantly, they say that they found torn-up sick notes for the day of the crash in his house, which supports the current, and this is a quote, the current preliminary assessment that the deceased hid his illness from his employer and colleagues. They also say that they found no suicide note at his home, nor was there any evidence of any political or religious motivation behind the action.
What do you mean by sick notes? Did he say that he was sick or not feeling well?
Sick notes as in approval from a doctor not to attend work.
Oh, I see. So a doctor said, don't go to work, you're not feeling well, you were mentally unstable.
Well, I don't know if they said anything about being mentally unstable. The prosecutors have just said that they've found torn up sick notes, as well as that there's documentation and some indication of medical treatment.
Yeah.
But beyond that, we can't confirm anything. But clearly, there has been this reporting about a background of some mental illness.
When the one pilot left the cockpit and locked the door behind him, I think in America, is it not that a flight attendant has to then take the place of the pilot, so there's at least two people in the cockpit at all times?
I can't speak to aviation regulations in the U.S., but in some jurisdictions, yes, there is the rule of two, which means that there must be two people in the cockpit at all times. But aviation rules differ in different countries, in different states. And in this instance, there was two pilots, a pilot and a co-pilot. The pilot left the cockpit for a period and was never able to re-enter during that sort of period of 8 to 10 minutes when the plane changed its course and sailed in towards the side of the mountain.
What about psychological testing? Do they conduct those tests on pilots after they're hired, like 2 years, 3 years afterwards, or is it just just physical?
Look, you're asking me to speculate about German airline regulations, of which I know very little.
Right.
I can talk to you about the situation here and the information that we have at hand. Obviously, all pilots undergo psychological assessments, and that continues during their employment. But in terms of the regularity of that and the extent of that, I just don't know.
Early on, they were saying that it was a controlled descent, not necessarily the actions of somebody who was trying to commit suicide. Clearly, I guess the controlled descent or this note and this latest information sort of supersedes all that.
Well, yes. Also, the flight data indicates that the co-pilot manually took the aircraft off autopilot and pointed it in a direction of lower altitude, and it continued on that path of lower altitude for the remainder of the course of the flight. It was a period of 8 to 10 minutes between when he took that initial action and when the plane slammed into the side of the mountain. So I think that's consistent potentially with the information that we now have at hand.
Yeah, that's really sort of sad news. That's Hamish McDonald, ABC News correspondent, live in France, giving us the latest. Hamish, thanks for checking in.
My pleasure.
You got it. 7:57 here, Big 550 KTRS. He was talking about that co-pilot had ripped up a doctor's note in his home telling him that he was unfit for duty. So that's some...
But it does not indicate whether it was mental or physical.
Why the doctor's note said don't fly, but clearly some sad issues going on there. All right, Tim Weiland, St. Louis Closet Company Traffic Center. Give us the road conditions.
Ceiling and snow, and that is really kind of making us have to go away from the roads. Northbound 55 is what we're looking at right now, and it looks pretty good. If you're going westbound 55-64, it's slowing 4th Street to the Poplar Street Bridge. Still working with that crash on northbound 141 near Fiedler Road. The right lane was blocked. You're backed up approaching Astra Way. That's approximately 4 miles. We're looking at northbound 270 is stop and go from the Sappington Road overpass up through Manchester. This traffic report brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. Advance Auto Parts introduces Speed Perks Rewards program. Spend $100 and get $20 off your next qualified purchase. No cards, no points, no nonsense. With your St. Louis Closet Company airborne traffic, Tim Weiland on the Big 550 KTRS.
All right, weather-wise, it's going to be a little chilly today. High just 46. Right now, it's still in the mid-30s, and we did wake up to some light snow and some snowflakes, if you will. Over the weekend, we've got a high of 45 on Saturday. Sunday, we're in the upper 50s. And then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 60s and into 70s on Wednesday. Maybe some rain in the forecast on Wednesday. Right now, it is 34 at the Big 550 KTRS. Coming up next hour, we're going to check in with David Blaustein. He's going to review a couple of movies for us, including the new Will Ferrell movie. And then he was also there. David Blaustein, I don't know, was walking by when that building collapsed in Greenwich Village yesterday. He was out covering it for ABC News. Yeah, the pictures are pretty extraordinary. A building just kind of collapsed.
So this wasn't the one with the fire?
It was the one with the fire.
Okay.
Yeah, the one with the fire. So there was a fire. It looked like it was some type of faulty, either electrical or some type of faulty gas connection. But the building imploded, really. And David Blaustein was there covering for ABC News. So we'll check in with that. Plus, give him a couple of movies. Also, Johnny Londoff will swing by and say hi. And there's a new guidebook to St. Charles by and for locals. We'll talk about that next hour as well. It is 34 degrees and some drizzle out there still. 8 o'clock, KTRS, St. Louis.
From ABC News, I'm Doug Limerick. New information on the co-pilot who apparently intentionally crashed the German plane, killing everybody on board. Here's ABC News Chief Foreign Correspondent Terry Moran at the residence where the co-pilot lived in Germany.
At his apartment in Dusseldorf, prosecutors say they have found evidence that Andreas Lubitz had an illness and was taking prescription medication for it, and he was hiding it from his employer, Lufthansa Airlines. They say they found torn-up sick notes and prescriptions for medication that he was essentially trying to shield from Lufthansa's knowledge.
Number of international airlines now joining the U.S. and requiring 2 crew members in cockpits at all times. Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid says he will not seek re-election next year. ABC News political director Rick Klein.
He had a recent exercise injury that damaged his eye, but despite that, he had been gearing up for what was going to be another bruising re-election campaign. He's had many of them in the past. Senator Reid, though, saying that his new time now as minority instead of majority leader, giving him some new perspective, and he feels like this is the time to step back and maybe enjoy life a little bit more.
Senator Reid, 75, has led Senate Democrats for the past decade. Arrested by the FBI in Chicago, 2 cousins. One of them stopped at Midway Airport, a National Guardsman, allegedly planning to fly overseas to join ISIS. But his sister tells us,
I honestly do not feel as if my brother is in the U.S. military, but yet leaving the country to join ISIS. That's ludicrous.
But her brother's also accused of giving his cousin his uniform so he could sneak onto a military installation and open fire. 2 people still unaccounted for after a thunderous explosion. Major fire destroyed an apartment building, Lower Manhattan. 19 injuries. Gas and plumbing work apparently triggered that blast. Economic growth in this country, sluggish the fourth quarter, but that is expected to change, get better in the months ahead. You're listening to ABC News.
It's borderline shocking how much energy I have.
I was off all my prescription medications in the first 30 days.
I'm Dr. Dennis Black, and I created a Texas-sized solution to America's health problem.
TexasSuperfood.com.
Since I've been on Dr. Black Superfood, I haven't been sick.
Barely a week, and my skin looks 75 to 80% better already.
I make my Texas Superfood from 55 raw, vine-ripened fruits and vegetables.
Alfalfa leaf, aloe vera, apple.
In a capsule or a powder, 1 daily dose of Texas Superfood delivers the same nutrition as 12 servings of raw fruits and vegetables.
All of the nutrients that we need.
Call us 844-DR-BLACK.
844-DR-BLACK.
Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Wouldn't you rather be healthy, energetic, and fit? Thousands of people take my Texas Superfood.
10 seconds.
It's on TexasSuperfood.com or call us at 844-DR-BLACK. That's 844-DR-BLACK.
TexasSuperfood.com.
KTRS St. Louis. This is where St. Louis turns to first for live coverage of breaking news. The Big 550 KTRS, St. Louis's news, weather, and traffic station. Depend on it.
34 degrees. The time is 8:03, live from the Window World Studios. I'm Kelly Jackson. Here's what's happening. Federal agents may be returning to search 2 North County homes this morning owned by a man charged with federal gun counts. David Hagler remains jailed without bond after federal agents searched his home for weapons and explosives Thursday. An FBI agent alleged in a criminal complaint that informants described Hagler as a highly intelligent anarchist Rambo type with a stockpile of firearms and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. The affidavit says Hagler talked of booby-trapping his home in the Baden neighborhood to injure any approaching police. A St. Charles man has been found guilty of sodomizing and strangling his girlfriend's baby. A jury deliberated for about 4 hours yesterday before finding Jordan Lafayette Prince guilty of first-degree murder, child abuse, and forcible sodomy. He faces life in prison. A lawsuit settlement with Ferguson protesters will lead to some changes by local law enforcement. KTRS's Trevor Phillips has the story.
3 Missouri police agencies will restrict